Ladies and gentlemen, there was a wonderful photo call outside. Da war ein wunderbarer Fotocall draußen.
It was a wonderful photo call outside before this press conference. We really would now like to start this press conference, so could you please be seated so we can start? Thank you.
Thank you. Dankeschön, dass Sie für die Kooperation. Dankeschön. Setzen Sie sich bitte. Please sit down. Thank you very much. Please sit down and keep a bit quiet for our guests. And welcome tonight, an evening press conference. Have a welcome for screening in competition, the Prairie Home Companion. And as we usually start, our guests from the right side, have a welcome from Joshua Astrachan as a producer. Also as a producer, have a welcome for Wren. Playing the part of Lola Johnson, Lindsay, Lohan. One of the real good Texan guy, have a welcome for Woody Harrelson. And also good at singing and for the advertising. I'm very glad to have her here, Meryl Streep. The last time I had him on the phone while he had a birthday on Cookie's Fortune, so I'd be, for myself, very proud to have him here tonight. The director, Robert Altman. So the Berlin Festival Exceptional is very proud to have them all here. So your question first, please stand up and wait for the microphone.
This question is to the director, Mr. Altman. Why do you think that A Prairie Home Companion is, I believe it is the most listened to program in the United States, and it's broadcast internationally. Why do you think it has such a mass appeal? And do you think it is quintessentially American?
Well, I think yes, I think it's very American, and it's been going on for 30 years. And I think the main reason for its popularity is its uniqueness, is the fact that Garrison and Company have done this show for the radio audience, and they haven't aspired to do anything else but deliver this to this radio audience. They haven't tried to become other than they are. And we tried to, in this film, to capture the soul of Garrison's humor, his way of communication, and the show generally. And we were very proud to be able to do that.
Yes, your question, please. Oops. Okay, then, yes, get up, please. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Olga Galperovich. I'm from Belarus.
Please take the microphone closer.
Yes, and I have a question to Meryl Streep, but I will talk in German.
My answer will be very short.
No, by your headphones, and it would be easier for you.
Ja, ich habe eine Frage.
I have a question I'd like to put to you. I thought you sang extremely well in that film. And is country music your favorite music genre?
Beliebte Musik und was eigentlich haben Sie da in diese Rolle gefunden?
What did you get out of this role as well? That's the second part of my question.
Not very much.
Thanks, Meryl.
Can I take this off now?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Well, thank you for your compliments about my singing, but I wasn't supposed to be a really good singer. That's how it was explained to me when the job was offered. You don't have to be really good. You just have to sing. And
I didn't know that she did anything else but sing. When I hired her, I didn't know she'd acted before.
But I had a wonderful time. I'm a long-time listener to the Prairie Home Companion, and I'm a very sophisticated, jaded, seen-it-all kind of gal who lives in New York City. And there's something about the world that Garrison Keillor creates that it locates a place in our childhood, in Americans' childhood. You know, we grew up listening to the radio in a more innocent time, and Garrison hasn't updated the show, except, I mean, it's playing right now at home, and he brings on sort of cutting-edge musicians and interesting artists. He brings in opera singers, he brings in country people. But this creation is not really like his show. It's an imagined, his last show. And so it's in the context of being taken over by a conglomerate, a radio conglomerate, which is happening to lots of radio shows at home. So for me, it was really great to locate something true about America, something about the heart of it, and something that cuts across all levels of sophistication and humanity about who we are as Americans. And that's why I loved being in it. And mostly I wanted to work with Robert Altman. My whole life I wanted to work with Robert Altman, but he had to wait till I was old and broken down to hire me.
Even he thought you were a singer, huh?
Yeah, and he thought I was a singer.
Yes, your question, please. Could you please stand up?
Mr. Altman, I would like to know what your personal relationship is with the radio show Prairie Home Companion, and if you think that this movie will boost up the country music industry.
I don't know about that. My first relationship with my knowledge of the show was through my wife, Catherine, who listened to it as long as I can remember. And I listened to the edges of it. And then we decided to do this. But she was my... gave me the confidence that there was an audience out there for it, because I wasn't that familiar with the show.
Your question, please. Yes, it's yours.
Yeah, hi. Harald Mühlbauer, screenshot. I enjoyed the movie very much, so I have only 2 questions left. Nice and easy questions. What did Paul Thomas Anderson do for the movie? He has a thank you credit. And second question, I don't know if I have seen correctly, but there was the soundtrack album of Apocalypse Now in the room where the old man dies. Is that right? And if so, why?
I don't know. I'd like to find out.
Are you fine with that?
Of Apocalypse Now?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Francis Coppola probably had a spy on the set and got it into the picture.
There's a question there over there. Please stand up. Thank you. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, Paul Thomas Anderson. Because of I'm so old and ancient that in order to get insurance for me, I had to have a standby director. And so somebody that the company that puts the money up would agree was a better director than I was, because they thought they would have a better picture if I croaked. And PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, took over. But he was there every moment of the time, every moment that I was there. He couldn't have been more helpful and less intrusive, and he's a great deal of what this show is, what this film is due to him. So thank you, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes, yes. No.
Good evening. This is Carol Guerrero from W Radio in Latin America, in Colombia. First of all, congratulations. It's a well-done movie. One question for Mr. Robert Altman. Why did you decide, or why did you think that A Prairie Home Companion deserved a movie? For Ms. Meryl Streep, as an actress, what you haven't done? One question for Ms. Lindsay Lohan. Will you continue working doing this kind of movies? I mean, like more serious than Herbie or Freaky Friday? And Mr. Woody Harrelson, how many jokes did you learn to play Lefty?
Well, I forgot my question, so... You go ahead.
Who starts?
I'll answer Woody's. No.
Go ahead, Lindsay.
Well, I think that this cast is much more interesting than a car from Herbie the Love Bug. And I think, I'm just learning to explore the characters that I will be able to play and to be able to work with the cast that I was able to work with in this movie was kind of incredible. Hopefully it will grow my characters and the types of movies that I do, the genres of them. That's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. And for Ms. Meryl Streep, as an actress, what you haven't done? I mean, you've done everything, I think.
Except for Herbie.
Yeah, I haven't
seen
done
her
Herbie.
job you're talking about.
Done that all.
Come on, Meryl.
I'm waiting.
Herbie too.
No, one of the things that was great about this, about the opportunity to work on this, was that it was it's an ensemble piece. It's almost like a theater piece. So we were all together all the time, and that's not usually the way it happens. Film schedules, they bunch all your work into one sort of time slot, and then somebody else comes in when they're available. But Bob works this way a lot, and it makes it a lot more fun, and it's fun to go to work, and the dinners are really fun, and it's a great way to work if you don't want to work in the theater at night, like me.
Mr. Harrelson, how many jokes did you learn to play Lefty?
How many what?
Jokes.
Did I learn?
Yes.
Just the ones in the movie. Yeah. But I'm willing to learn more if you have any, so.
Good Colombian joke.
Yeah, good Colombian joke.
And Mr. Altman, why did you decide to make a movie based on the Prairie Home Companion radio show?
Well, it happened. I had the opportunity to do it, so I did it. I wanted to see what it would bring. I wanted to see how it would turn out. And I still don't know.
It's adequate.
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 Yeah.
Okay, your question, please.
Hello, Helen Barlow from Australia. Mr. Altman, you're receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars at the beginning of March, yet you've never won a Best Director Oscar, which some of us kind of a bit disappointed in the Academy not giving you one.
Well, let's get on their case. And what's the reason for that? I don't understand it. I've always entered my name in the contest.
But my question is, what does it mean to you to finally receive an award from them? And if they were to give you a Director's Award along the way, which one do you think it should have won it? The Player, MASH? Which one would have you think?
No, I'm very happy with the fact that I'm being recognized this year, and I'm very proud of that, and I can't think of a better award. I think to me it's better for all of my work than for just A couple of things.
Okay. Your question, please.
Here we are.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Could you stand up, please?
First of all, my congratulations to Mr. Altman and everybody. You made us dance, laugh, and almost cry at the same time. And then the whole film seems to reflect your own attitude towards life and your career also. More than 80 years in 2006, a lot of films, this Academy Award you receive, but you still seem to face life and career with the same energy and happiness and everything. Is it correct?
Well, it's okay with me.
I mean, is it part of your own story somehow?
Well, my work is part of my life, and it's just part of my life, and it's what I do, and I don't grade these things. People say, oh, you did MASH, and you want, but I did about 40 other films that I think are equally as good, and we've worked certainly as hard on, and but you can't. I not only forget the question, but I forget the answer.
That's something definitely new.
Okay.
So maybe go looking for that. We go for the next question.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Altman.
Yes.
Hi.
Please stand up.
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, given that Garrison Keillor is playing himself, how much direction did you actually need to give him, or did you just tell your performers to fit their performances around his personality?
Well, he's no different than these other blokes up here. I mean, it's the same with all of them. But Garrison, is that what we're talking about? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Garrison was terrific. He was acting, wasn't he? He certainly remembered his lines.
Yeah.
Okay. Your question, please. Could you please stand up?
Yeah. Hello, Nils from Norway. Got a question for Mr. Altman and a question for Mrs. Lohan. I wonder, Mr. Altman, what is the reason why you tend to focus on many people in your movies instead of focusing on one or two characters as other American directors do?
Well, I find all of these, the more help I can get, the better. So if the more actors I can get into the arena, it makes my work much easier, because if something doesn't work well, I just go to somebody else.
And to Mrs. Lohan, yes. What happened to your hair? I mean, you were blonde in the movie, and now you're a perfect brunette.
I colored it.
Oh, right. Is that the reason?
I also grew a few inches, too, I think. You know, it suited my character. I don't think this hair would have really matched Meryl's. And at the time, it was kind of an excuse to try something new. And I think it's good for when I'm playing the character to just change my look a bit. People kind of they remember you as what they want to remember you as in the last film. So I think it's nice to be able to change.
Okay, next question, please, in the back.
Hi, Baz Bammy Boy from the Daily Mail in London. Congratulations on the film. It's a question for Mr. Altman, and other panel members may want to comment as well. The line that really struck me in the film is one that Garrison Keillor says. He says that something about Midwesterners, if they ignore bad news, it'll go away. And I wondered as I watched it whether the bad news that was being ignored was the war that America is continuing in Iraq. I know it's not about that. I know it's a completely different movie, but it just struck me. And I was just wondering, it's so much about the heart of America. I just wondered whether that was what was going through his mind. Anyway,
I think that goes through his mind a lot, and I think you hear his shows, all of his art reflects that attitude. I mean, the fact that is an existing fact, and I think we all deal with everything that happens to us whether it's individually or as a group. But we don't have to go to the battlefield every time to make a comment on the attitudes of this war, although I don't think it's a war. I don't know what it is, really.
Bombing campaign?
A bombing campaign. Anyway, okay.
Your question, please. Could you please stand up? Oh, no, sorry.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes. My name is Alf Marlow from MDR 12. I have one question, especially on the actors. It was a film, a very live entertainment film, and it goes through my heart, straight through my heart. And the songs was very special, country songs. And it's possible. You have a fantastic audience, and you are fantastic entertainers. You can please sing 4 texts for us. You get a big applause, maybe. Yes, maybe. Yeah. Sorry, it was only a question.
Meryl, it's all you.
It's hard. I guess it's hard without Lily Tomlin, huh?
Yeah.
We need the whole
my
cast.
basso profundo. Oh, see, this is what actors just can't do.
Dread.
Entertain, you know.
It's a press conference.
So I guess that's a no. We're not going to sing.
So give them some
requests.
Some time. Maybe later on for goodbye, maybe. So next question, please.
Yeah, this is for Woody. Woody Harrelson.
Woody. I was thinking, I know that name. Hold it.
Sorry. You're a pretty politically, environmentally engaged character. Do you see that? I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see a lot more people doing the kind of work that you've done, stepping out, taking a risk in the spotlight in a way when you get involved in groups that you've been getting involved with. So do you see that going on and sort of being a leader in some sense in that, which we need desperately?
Well, I see a lot of people in Hollywood doing it right now. A lot of people are stepping up and, speaking their heart and their mind. And, for example, I was just thinking about Good Night and Good Luck. And Siriano, George did, 2 movies in a row that I think are really speak volumes, and that there's a lot of other people who are very much concerned with what's going on with American foreign policy and things like that. The American government's war on the environment, for example. So I think there's a lot of people who care and are speaking up, and I'm really happy that everyone's doing that,
Okay, here on the left, please.
A question that goes to Ms. Streep. Ms. Streep, this is your fan number 1 talking to you. You really have
That's nothing to laugh about.
People like me, and there are lots of people like me here in Europe, the people who are in Europe, the only chance to see you a little bit more than in films is when you decide one day to be on stage, either in London, Paris or Berlin. Are there some plans in this direction?
Well, I'm going to do Mother Courage in New York, in Central Park, this summer.
Far away.
And it's far away, but maybe we'll make a tour with it.
Come on, flying.
It's a very good. I love performing there because it's free, and anybody can come, and the public theater has a mission in Central Park to deliver stuff that people wouldn't normally see for free, and I love that the feeling of the audience. It's unlike people who've plunked down there in New York and Broadway. I guess it's 150 something dollars to go see a play, but when people know that you're just giving this out to the night sky because it's outside, they come with a whole different way of looking and listening and seeing what the play is. And that's the great anti-war play, I think, that's ever been written. And I'm really eager to do it. Tony Kushner, who adapted Angels in America, who wrote Angels in America, is adapting this the script and doing his own adaptation, so it'll be a new adaptation, and George Wolfe will be directing it, so I'm looking forward to that. But no, I haven't ever been on stage because I have so many children, and they always have a drama of their own, and I have to be sort of on duty, and it's one of those things that I chose early on to take on.
Your question, please.
Hi, I've got a question for the producers. A two-hour movie about a live radio show is very interesting, but could very well be suicide at the box office. So why did you decide to step in? And was it because it seems to be a trend? George Clooney did Good Night and Good Luck, which is also about live television. Is it more to document the end of an era?
I think Bob spoke and Meryl spoke beautifully about the film being resonant of many things that are going on right now, ends of eras, I guess, being one of them. And, you know, if I don't know, I think I speak for both Wren and myself, if Bob Altman wants to make a film, why wouldn't you want to help him do it? So in terms of the financiers, we are not the financiers. You could ask them why they were, thank goodness, foolish enough to go with us.
I think he said it good.
Okay, next question, way out on the right side.
Hello, I'm here. Marius Zekri from Hamburg. Question to the actors. Your singing performance in the movie was great, and I wondered, was this kind of natural gift, or did you take for this movie special training or special practice to perform that well?
We rehearse.
It's just to the actors.
Lindsay really rehearsed a lot.
I didn't even really sing. No, I'm just kidding. We all did. I don't know.
She cut an album before we...
I came in kind of nervous because my first time at meeting Meryl was when I had to first sing with her in rehearsal. And it was a bit nerve-wracking. And then I had everyone on the side of the stage when I shot my scene, my big singing scene in the movie, I guess you could call it. I had Kevin Kline on the right. It was a bit nerve-wracking, but it was exciting, and everyone's very supportive on the set. So, you know, it was comfortable, and it was more fun than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
Woody did a lot of rehearsing.
I did a lot of rehearsing.
I heard you, because you were in the next room. Oh. Yeah. I just winged it, man. I didn't have to go in and work.
I didn't know they rehearsed at all.
Yes, please.
Good evening. Derek Scally from the Irish Times. First of all, thank you all for coming to Berlin. A question for the whole panel, whoever wants to answer. Ms. Streep, you spoke of the Prairie Home Companion as a very authentic voice of America. Through this film, you've brought this authentic voice of America, the America that did and does exist, to the rest of the world. It seems a sentimental film that's not sentimental, a political film that's not overtly political, like Syriana and Good Night and Good Luck. How do you feel as Americans bringing this voice, this authentic voice of America to the world in a time when on the nightly news America isn't really looking very good? Thank you.
I feel really proud of the movie, and I think it's properly subversive, but it's very human, and it relies on humor and music to communicate what's being lost, and that's worthwhile. And I'm still reeling from box office, suicide or whatever that was. Well, it might be that, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how it'll translate to an international audience, but I sort of have a faith in those very basic human qualities that sort of transcend borders. And basically, America is just Germany, Ireland, Pakistan, it's everything. And I don't know. I'm proud of it, and I hope it translates around the world. But I know it'll find an audience at home. I'm sure of it, because people are waiting for stuff.
It's positive.
Yeah.
It's
like that.
uplifting. You go to the movies to kind of get away and go into your own world, and I think it's nice to see a movie that was just very real. The realism came through. And I think that's a nice thing to point out.
We are thrilled to be we're thrilled to be in Berlin, and the reception we got when the festival first screened it, the warmth with which they responded to it certainly is very encouraging as a first step, and again maybe helps address that box office suicide issue. The film's awfully entertaining as well as being subversive and all the other things we hope it rightly is, so we have high hopes in every way for it.
So Woody, you're the last to wait for your answer.
And there's always video.
Okay.
On radio.
Shorter than his jokes in the movie.
Radio.
So your question, please.
Hi, Sean Rubenstein Dunlop here from Australia. I've got two questions. Firstly, to Mr. Altman, is this a sort of elegy to a lost America, or could you explain further how you feel it's subversive?
To a lost America.
And secondly, how did you go about making the film? I know in Gosford Park the actors had to improvise a lot. How did you do it in this film? And maybe the actors could comment on that as well. Thanks.
Well, I think they improvised a lot, because I didn't know the script, so I didn't know when they were off the book or on. The general there's nothing you can do at any time that doesn't reflect the political temperature of the times. It may not be about that on the nose, but certainly what's happening around in the fabric around our lives informs what we do and what we think about, and the things that become important to us. And so consequently, I don't think you can make a piece of art of any kind, a film, a song. They're all poems, and they all reflect these kinds of feelings that rub off on us. And if this film had been done a year earlier, or it would be done next year, it would be a different film, because they would reflect the truths of what's going on in ourselves, which is just a part of what's going on in the world, but we all are responsible for that sort of thing. And so every film is political. I don't think it has to be about politics. But I think George Clooney's work this year is remarkable, and I think he deserves an enormous amount of attention and credit, and I'm sure he'll get it. But all the films that we make have to do, they all reflect the same thing, what's going on.
So, your question, please. Thank you. On the right side, please.
Véronique Blas from Intercinet from France. Mr. Altman, I would like to know, where does that strange and mysterious talent come from? You have that talent you have to be such able to make films about so different subjects with for the viewers, the feeling that you know everything about it. When you do MASH, it's like if you spent your whole life in a military camp. When you shoot a fashion défilé in Paris, it's like if you spent your own life with Naomi Campbell and the other. And now we just heard that you were not so much involved in the country music, and it's through your wife that you heard about that program, successful program, and it's like you were a very first fan of that sort of music. How do you manage to be so much involved in every subject you make?
Well, that just proves that I don't have a hell of a lot to do with these films. I show up and I invite this cast to come, and I say, so show me your stuff, and I'll film it, and that's really what happens.
So way out on the right side, there's I guess maybe the last question.
Thank you very much for that film, and Mr. Altman especially for all your films, also to Meryl Streep. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to know of all of you. I mean, you have a private life, but thanks for being in Berlin. And what are your plans doing here, and how long will you stay, maybe? And to Miss Lindsay, how was working with Meryl Streep? Thank you. Thank you.
It was horrible. She's a tough one, and I thought I was tough. No, it was fantastic. It really was, and I'm really honored, actually. And she taught me a lot, and it was nice. I had someone looking out for me and really taking care of me on set, and she has daughters that were there to keep me company, and I learned a lot from her, and I will take it with me and pass it on to the people that I will work with, as I will to my sister and it was a great experience, and I thank Robert Altman for letting me be a part of it, as well as you guys over here, and thank you for having us here. It was really nice welcoming that we got. I appreciate it.
To address
I guess we're not going to be here long enough I'm not going to be here long enough to see too much, but I want to see. I know there are 5 contemporary art museums here, and I want to see all of them, because my husband isn't here and I can gloat when I get home. He really wants to see them. We have to come back sometime when we're under the radar.
So maybe your #1 fan can help you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
To Mr. Altman, a small question. You have repeated visual reference to F. Scott Fitzgerald. Why is that so? And
the theater in Minneapolis, where F. Scott Fitzgerald is from Minneapolis, and that theater that the Garrison Keillor show, in St. Paul, I beg your pardon, they're twin cities. St. Paul was the sick one. Well, not the sick one, but the
little one,
underfed one.
Yeah.
But that is the name of the theater that he does his show from in St. Paul, the Fitzgerald, and that Fitzgerald bust that we use in there was in the lobby of that theater, and so it goes with the territory. We didn't invent Fitzgerald, but we used him.
So the last question goes to Riga.
Thank you.
And
Laimon Sirius G from Riga, Latvia. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think your birthday is coming up, February 22nd or 21st.
No, that was George Washington.
But I wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I guess that was a press conference for a Prairie Home Companion. Thanks for all being here. Thanks for having you in Berlin.
Thank you.
And keep singing on the red carpet now. No. May I?